Hey, what's going on YouTube? Mike here for Phandroid, and so we've had the Google Pixel 8a for quite some time now, and we've gotten to know the phone a lot better since its launch, and it's proven to be one of the more interesting phones from Google in recent times. Now, it's been half a decade now since the launch of Google's first ever A-series phone, the Pixel 3a. Over the years that followed, Google has taken bits and pieces from its many flagship phones and incorporated them into its line of mid-range devices, with the Pixel 8a being the latest iteration of this once wallet-friendly hardware line. We say once because, like the Pixel 7a, the 8a is one of the more expensive smartphones that Google has launched, priced at $500. To be fair though, it does come with some features found in the latest flagship Pixel 8 phones, but do its compromises outweigh its upgrades? Let's take a look. Now, one look at the Pixel 8a and it's obvious that Google has introduced some new design elements to the phone, while at the same time keeping things consistent with the rest of the Pixel lineup. The rounded form factor seen on the Pixel 8 and the 8 Pro is present here, as is the metal frame and the camera bar around the sides of the phone. Instead of a glossy back though, we do get a matte finish on the rear panel this time, which in my opinion feels a lot better and is a lot more resistant to fingerprints and scratches. One big update though is the display. It's still pretty small at 6.1 inches, but there are two big upgrades to the Pixel 8a screen this year. For one, it comes with a much smoother 120Hz refresh rate, and it gets super bright at up to 2000 nits of peak brightness. It's easier to view outdoors, so you won't have any trouble looking at your screen when under direct sunlight. And the improved refresh rate means that you get a better looking experience when using your phone. Unfortunately though, durability stays the same as on last year's Pixel 7a. Instead of an IP68 rating, the Google Pixel 8a comes with IP67, and Google has decided to stick with Gorilla Glass 3 instead of Gorilla Glass Victus for the display on the Pixel 8a. Other than that though, it still feels like a solid device, although if you want to add some protection, Google does sell its own first-party cases, which are designed specifically for the Pixel 8a. The Pixel 8a also comes with a pair of loudspeakers on the top and bottom, and they do sound pretty loud and clear for the most part. There's a bit of bass on here as well, although it's a bit lacking. As for performance, there's a Tensor G3 chip inside, the same flagship chipset found on the more expensive Pixel 8 and the Pixel 8 Pro. It's accompanied by 8GB of RAM and a choice of either 128 or 256GB of storage, the latter of which is only accessible if you buy the Obsidian version of the phone. For day-to-day use, the Pixel 8a manages to get things done as expected. This is after all a phone running on a fairly recent chipset. Daily use such as navigating through my different apps, multitasking, and even gaming were easily handled by the Pixel 8a without any issues concerning app restarts, stutters, and stuff like that. Perhaps one thing to note though is that, like its predecessors, the Pixel 8a still gets warm when using mobile data or when using the camera for extended periods of time. Now for software, the phone ships with Android 14 on board, and Google does say that it will provide up to 7 years of software support for the phone, which will be very ideal if you like to keep your devices for long periods of time. As always, the mostly clean version of Android inside the Pixel 8a is one of the major highlights of the device and will appeal to people who want a no-nonsense Android device without unnecessary bloatware, as well as third-party software. Also, with this being a Pixel phone, you get access to a number of Google exclusive tricks such as call screening, spam message filters, now playing, and the addition of new AI features like the much hyped Magic Editor for photos. They're pretty handy features to have and help the Pixel 8a stand out from a sea of otherwise dime a dozen mid-range Android phones. Now, camera is where most Pixel devices shine, and the Pixel 8a is no exception. With that in mind though, it should be said that the 8a reuses a lot of the same hardware on last year's Pixel 7a. There's a 64 megapixel main camera, which is accompanied by a 13 megapixel ultra-wide lens, as well as a 13 megapixel front-facing camera. If you're familiar with how Google's computational photography handles pictures, then you can expect more of the same on the Pixel 8a. Photos have that signature Pixel look to them, with generally warm tones, decent dynamic range, as well as a good amount of exposure even in low light scenarios. Unlike the Pixel 8 Pro though, the 8a lacks a telephoto lens, so there are some limitations with regards to how you can take your photos. In general though, it is a capable performer as far as still photography goes. Now for video, the Pixel 8a can record a maximum of 4K resolution video clips at 60 frames per second with the main camera, and 4K resolution video clips at 30 frames per second on the front-facing camera. Video quality is mostly decent with great stabilization, and color temperatures that mimic what you'd find on still photos. However, it does occasionally struggle in less than ideal lighting conditions, which should be taken into consideration. As for battery, the Pixel 8a comes with a 4492 capacity unit on board, which is slightly larger than the battery inside the Pixel 7a from last year. I was able to get mostly decent battery endurance with the Pixel 8a, with similar screen time compared to when I was using the regular Pixel 8. One issue with Pixel phones, however, is that they tend to drain a lot faster when using mobile data or when constantly using the camera for extended periods of time. For charging, the Pixel 8a unfortunately comes with a slow 18-watt charging speed and a slow 7.5-watt wireless charging speed. This is the same configuration as on the Pixel 7a, and I do think that is a missed opportunity for Google to have improved the charging speeds on the newer phone. So is the Pixel 8a worth spending your money on? It does come with a lot of great improvements, and while it's not perfect, it does show that Google can play more competitively against rival brands when it wants to. For $500, you're getting some pretty nice upgrades with the device, and key factors such as the better looking display, improved chipset, as well as the consistently good camera performance are great reasons to get one. However, it should also be mentioned that the regular Pixel 8 occasionally goes for around the same price as the 8a, and this is something that Google tends to do all year round, which is something to keep in mind. There's also the Pixel 7a, which is a lot cheaper by now, and still offers some pretty good upgrades over older Pixel devices, such as a smoother display, a faster chipset, and a newer camera configuration. With that said though, the Pixel 8a can go lower with carrier deals and trade-ins, so do consider that as well. Now at the end of the day though, the choice ultimately depends on you. If you want to go for a solid and relatively affordable smartphone, the Pixel 8a is a terrific choice and you really can't go wrong with this one. On the other hand, we did mention some alternatives in case you want to stick to a Pixel phone, although if you look around, there are a ton of different smartphones with better specs at around $500. Alright, so that does it for our quick review on the Google Pixel 8a. Be sure to check out our other content here on Phandroid and follow our social media pages. Thanks a lot for watching. Let us know your thoughts about this phone in the comments below, and we'll see you guys in the next one.